we can start. So, if you are joining today, my name is Moses Sitach. I am the PR and Communication Manager Hugs. I am a book lover. Last week, we started on A Gentle Reminder by Bianca Sparaccino. In case you need her profile, you need last week's reading. It's available on YouTube. I've shared the link on WhatsApp, on Hugs WhatsApp groups. Whatever group you are in, you will see a link. So maybe you can catch up. Today we are going to start on page 33, and we'll do a reading for the next 30 minutes, and then we'll have discussions after that. The meeting is being recorded as an audio. We're going to figure out how we do video if you want it, but I understand it's the evening, it's 8 p.m. Maybe not everyone is comfortable with video right now. And again, it's supposed to be a book club, it's supposed to be relaxing, so have fun. In case of any questions, you can raise your hand, or even like it doesn't have to be that formal. You can speak up, then you can hear your opinion, etc. I hope you enjoy the session. I don't know, I'm clear to everyone? Everyone can hear me? Okay, thank you. So I'm going to start page 33. You are never asking for too much. You are simply just asking the wrong person. Just a second, sorry. Okay. Forgive yourself for changing. Forgive yourself for being a different person than you were a year ago, or 3 months ago, or even a week ago. Forgive yourself for wanting different things, and for maybe stepping away from the goals or the dreams or the people you fought to manifest in your life. Sometimes it is extremely difficult to see change, to see that difference within your own soul and your own desires as a good thing. But it is a good thing. It is the best thing because it means that you are learning. It means you are asking questions. It means you are not settling in your life. It means that you are not just taking a back seat to the way you crush your heart into the world. It means that you are asking more from yourself. It means that you are genuinely trying your best to figure out what deserves to stay in your life instead of just keeping things within it because they are there. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for changing. And more importantly, be the person who changes. Because when you are the person who changes, it means you are the person who is growing. Instead of vilifying yourself for that, instead of feeling like you're falling away from yourself, use this transformation as a reminder that you are actually falling into yourself, that you are actually chasing the kind of life, the kind of life that is growing. Okay, just a second. I need to figure out my page. I keep losing my light. Okay, so I have to get out. So maybe forgive yourself for changing, and more importantly, be the person who changes. Because when you are the person who changes, it means you are the person who is growing. Instead of vilifying yourself for that, instead of feeling like you are falling away from yourself, use this transformation as a reminder that you are actually falling into yourself. that you are actually chasing the kind of life that is going to be the best reflection of the season you are in. And do not fear that change. Do not get so comfortable in your life that you aren't moving at all, that you aren't taking chances or risking questions or about how things within, about how things within it are truly, deeply making you feel. Wish for change. It doesn't mean that you are lost. It means that you are finding yourself. Forgive yourself for giving your heart to those who could not love it or value it. Forgive yourself for falling for the wrong people because they want the wrong people. You weren't meant to meet them. You weren't meant to fall for them. You are meant to experience them and learn from the lesson. You do not have to regret the way you put your heart into the world. You do not have to vilify yourself for feeling and for caring and for hoping that something beautiful you felt with another human being will turn into something real and tangible and poetic. When you are mending your heart, it can be difficult to see that. When you are mending your heart, it can be difficult to come to terms with the fact that at times you may not have fought for what it deserved. Maybe you stayed longer than you should. Maybe you wish you would have seen the signs earlier, that you could have walked away before the damage was done, before the lesson was learned, and in a really hard and haunted way. Forgive yourself for the way you treated yourself in the past, for the way you talked to your body, for the way you really fight, the way your mind runs when you were dealing with anxiety or overthinking or depression or anything that was haunting it. Forgive yourself for the way you settled for less than what you wanted or desired or you knew or you needed because you think you deserved it. Because you convinced yourself somewhere along the lines that you are not worthy of beauty in life, that you are not worthy of happiness or goodness or having the things you wanted come to fruition. Forgive yourself for the way you held yourself back because you didn't believe in your own potential, because you didn't believe in your capacity to take up space. Forgive yourself for all the things you didn't say or didn't wear or didn't do because you are afraid of how it will make you look, because you are afraid of what others might think of you. Forgive yourself for the way you didn't show up for yourself, for the ways in which you held yourself back, for the ways in which you didn't see how worthy you are, for the ways in which you made yourself small. Forgive yourself for the things you had to do in order to survive, for the ways in which you had to fight through the pain of navigating all that was heavy and messy and confusing and along the journey. We want to protect the people we fall in love with. Sorry. Uh, do not vilify yourself for the ways in which you had to come through your sadness, or the ways in which you had to learn how to quiet your mind and protect yourself from all that was trying to bury you. Forgive yourself for what you had to do in order to heal. Forgive yourself for the ways in which you fought. Forgive yourselves for the way in which you saved yourself. Forgive yourself for doing whatever you had to do to ensure that you made it to see it and to see another day. It is okay that you hid from the world. It is okay you weren't as productive as you needed to be. It is okay if you let relationships sleep or if you let yourself sleep. It is okay if you felt depressed or sad or anxious as you met your halo. It is okay. Whoever you fought your battles, whatever you got to here today is valid. You had to do what you had to do. Congratulate yourself for having the courage to do it, even if it was not graceful, even if it could have been executed in a kinder way or a more tender way, even if you see now that you could have done things differently. It is okay. Be gentle in yourself, with yourself. You are learning. You still are. We want to protect the people we fall in love with. We want to nurture them and hold them where they are most tender. We want to make sure they know we are not revolted by their broken pieces, that we do not recoil at their damage. We want to hold it all. We want to whisper into the cracks. It is okay to be who you are. We do this because we see so much of ourselves within those we give our hearts to. We notice the ways, the fragments of their personalities and their experience and the way their characteristics life has given them blink in the light and catch our attention. Most likely because we see within them a familiarity. We may not have been broken in the same way, withered in the same way, but we still feel a sense of belonging to them, a sense of being understood in a way. It is through loving those broken pieces within another human being that we are kinder to the pieces that ache in the same ways within ourselves. We may not always call it by its name, but in the quiet, almost eerie understanding that hangs in the air when you are in the presence of someone who sees you in ways the others don't, something deep inside of you is affirmed. Maybe, just maybe, it is okay to believe that you can be loved there too. Maybe, just maybe, it isn't such an unthinkable thing to have faith. Listen, if you are in love with someone who cannot like you back at the moment, please understand that this is not a reflection of your goodness. This is not a reflection of your worth. Sometimes life withers people in different ways. We are all in this earth just trying to figure ourselves out, just trying to mend the breaks in our souls, just trying to deal with what is heavy within us. Sometimes we are ready and another person is not. Sometimes we try and another person does not. Sometimes we pour ourselves into another human being and they cannot contain all that we are. Sometimes we fight and another person surrenders. Sometimes we choose to make things work and another person decides that they can't choose the same reality. And that is okay. I need you to understand that is okay. Because at the end of the day, if someone does not meet you where you are, you cannot keep asking them to do so. If someone cannot reciprocate your love, if someone cannot give you what you truly deserve, you have to understand that aching for them to do so before they are ready is a form of self destruction. Your heart is a vast and tender thing. You cannot keep trying to shrink it to what someone else needs. You cannot keep pouring your love into a vessel that cannot contain it. You cannot keep pouring your love into a soul that has not opened their eyes to all that they are receiving. You cannot keep pouring that. You cannot keep pouring your love into a heart that is closed off to it. It will only leave you empty. You have to walk away. You have to let this person grow on their own terms because they can't love someone into their potential. You can't love someone into being ready. They have to do that on their own. And I know how hard it is to walk away from someone who you deeply care for. I know how hard it is to lay all of that love down, to close your heart off to all that sees in another human being. But in walking away, you will learn how to pour all the love that you are giving to the wrong person back into yourself. And you will learn how to pour it into all that you desire in your life. You learn how to pour it into your growth, into your art, into your hope. You will learn how to stand up for your feeling, how to stand up for its value. And when you teach yourself that, you deserve to be loved without having to beg for that love, without having to chase that love down. You open yourself to the kind of beauty that chooses you just as freely as you choose it. You open yourself to the kind of people who see you and immediately know that you are a rare and beautiful thing. You open yourself to new beginning, to a future that unfolds in ways that don't hurt or break you down, but rather build you up and show you just how worthy you are of having your heart held. Maybe you will never go back to the person you used to be, but maybe that is okay. Maybe that is something to celebrate sometimes, to embrace because you are a version of yourself that exists in the past. A version of yourself that didn't go through the heartbreak or the hardship, a version of yourself that did not have to navigate all the ways in which life was trying to weather it. Who you are is a version of yourself that didn't have to fight their way out of the dark, that didn't have to deal with the things that caused change to crack within the soul of you. And those things can transform a human being. Maybe you'll never be reintroduced to that version of yourself. Maybe you'll never get back to who you are. Maybe that version of yourself has evolved, has grown into who you are meant to be at this moment. In time, maybe you have to lay down that expectation. Maybe you have to release that comparison, and instead, maybe you have to trust in the lessons and the ways in which the world has asked you to stretch towards your becoming. Maybe you have to stop looking backwards. Molting is the process by which a snake routinely casts off its skin to facilitate their growth. And sometimes life forces you to do the same. Sometimes life challenges you to share relationships and ideas and the old versions of yourself that no longer serve you. So when you feel like you are not the same person, when you feel like you have unraveled, like you have evolved into someone you do not recognize, maybe that is something to honor. You have transitioned, you have transformed, and life will ask you to do time and to do so time and time again as a journey through it. As you journey through it, do not fear your evolution, claim it. The truth is, when you settle for an almost, you settle for almost in every single aspect of a relationship, almost happy, almost valued, almost chosen. Yes, the connection holds weight. There's depth there, but it is always it will always exist on the surface of what your soul craves. When you settle for an almost, you're left waiting to receive the kind of love you've been giving someone all along. You're holding out for something real and pointed and full to grow from so much uncertainty. But you deserve more than that. You deserve certainty. You deserve to be someone's favorite thing. You deserve effort. You deserve for the beauty you see within another human being to come to fruition, to be something substantial, to be something you can grow within. You deserve to feel like someone is excited to be with you, like someone is excited to commit to you, like someone is inspired to drive, to dive into something concrete and foundational with you. You deserve someone who is on the same page, someone who wants the same thing, someone who wants to meet all of your hope with action. You deserve someone who isn't afraid of being responsible for your heart. You deserve someone who embraces. When you're not feeling good enough, remember that even at your best, you will not be good enough for someone who does not have the capacity or the will to learn. And while there's a very human part in each and every soul that leaps towards needing to prove ourselves, to care more, to try harder, just to demonstrate our worth at the end of the day. If someone does not see the value that is pinned and blooming within you, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how hard you fight for someone who isn't fighting for you. It doesn't matter how hard you show up for someone who isn't showing up for you. It doesn't matter because those human beings don't actually see you. If they did, they will respect you. They will value you because you deserve to be valued. They will cherish the rare and magnetic hope you have to offer because it deserves to be cherished. Don't forget that the right people will choose you. They will see you. They will dive into the depth of you, and you will never have to force those connections. You will always be good enough for them. Anything else is not for you. When you are not feeling good enough, remember that sometimes the root of feeling not good enough comes from holding yourself to someone else's ideal rather than your own. Remember that you are the only person who gets to decide if you're good enough. You are the only person qualified enough to determine your value. Please do not put your happiness or your self love or your belief into the hands of other people or their validation or understanding of you. Do not make it contingent on their acceptance of you, on their acceptance of you, or their willingness to love you or care for you or choose you. All you have to focus on is building the kind of life that is yours and yours alone. All you have to do is focus on building yourself into the kind of person you are proud of. You are in charge of your worth. Nothing can externally dictate that. Nothing has the power unless you give that power of yours away. Don't give that power away. Make yourself happy on long terms. When you are not feeling good enough, just try your best to remind yourself how far you have come. Start paying attention to what you are rather than what you aren't. Start paying attention to the things you have rather than the things you don't. Remind yourself that you are someone's favorite human being. Remind yourself that you have overcome the most hurtful and haunted aspects of life. Remind yourself that while sometimes your journey may feel like it's being weathered by circumstance or difficulty, while there are going to be days where the dark and the doubt crack within the soul of you, you have defeated those days before. And as simple as that may sound, it is important to remind yourself of the strength you have fostered. It is important to remind yourself that the things you thought would once destroy or bury you never had the capacity to do so. There is worth in that strength. There is worth in that growth. It will always exist within you, even when you cannot feel it. Please, if you have forgotten, if you do not feel good enough right now, remember that you are worthy and deserving of everything you want in life. You deserve to fall in love with someone who cares for you in the softest way, someone who drives you and believes in you, and it's always in your corner, not just when it is easy, but when it is hard. You deserve to be that person for yourself as well. You deserve to be surrounded by people who grow your mind, people who make you better. They push you to be better. You deserve that kind of confidence that makes you believe that anything is possible. That kind that empowers your voice and your ideals and your capacity to seek out the things that you desire. You deserve moments of pure, intense happiness, the kind that makes you feel your heart beating. It's just the kind that dizzy you and make you realize that everything will be okay, that you will be okay. You deserve to be chosen. You deserve to be loved the way you love others. At the end of the day, you deserve to be inspired by your life. Uh, the next chapter, to be who you are. After all you have been through at the hands of this world, it is the one. To be who you are after all you've been through at the hands of this world is beautiful. If no one told you this today, let this be your reminder. You are needed here. And I understand how hollow these words can feel when you are trying to balance all that is heavy within you. I understand how difficult it can be to trust you are healing before you see it, before you experience it. But the way you feel right now, it is okay. Do not feel ashamed for this season of your life. Not do do not feel ashamed for this season of your life. Do not feel like you need to apologize for finding it difficult to access your hope or your belief or your way right now. And while I know you may feel like things are never going to get better, what if they do? While I know you think you are never going to fall in love, what if you do? Well, I know you think there isn't any beauty left in this universe for you, but what if there is? What if there is? Stay here. Stay here because that is truly the only way you are going to see that life does get better. That pain does subside, that we learn how to bear the weight of living and loving and hurting and growing in the mess and in awe of this existence. Stay here because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. You never know What experiences are waiting for you on the other side of your fight? Real life is so much more interesting than anything you'll ever see on social media. So please just put down your phone and pick up your head. Be present with the human beings you spend your time with. Be present with yourself. Be present with the world. Don't forget to live because you think you are living through your phone. Trust me when I say real life is the feeling you get when you support your friends and you see them doing the things that make their cells dance. Real life is 8 a.m. wrapped within in the names of someone who makes your stomach feel like it's buzzing, an electric kind of happiness. Real life is kissing your mother's face and caring about the first time she saw your father. Real life is sitting within with yourself in all your depth and your decay and not distracting your mind from all that it is seeking to be felt within. Real life is great. It breaks you open and it is meant to weather you in the most beautiful and meaningful ways. But you will miss all of that if you are looking down. Always choose to look up. We hold on to those who cannot love us for so many reasons. Sometimes we hold on because we convince ourselves that circumstance will change, that if we love harder, if we give more, if we stay, if we endure, the situation will evolve. The value for our love will be recognized. It'll be chosen. Sometimes we hold on because we feel like we have to. We feel like we have to be the ones to fix the ones, commend the ones to prove that human beings don't give up on a person. They see something beautiful within. Sometimes we hold on because we feel guilty, because we think that walking away and choosing ourselves is us discarding someone we care about. It's us abandoning a human being. And sometimes we hold on because we think that we will never find the kind of person who proves to us that love is not something that is meant to hurt. Sometimes we hold on because we lose our belief in the fact that love has the potential to be soft, that there is more to life than what we are setting for. Life is meant to be lived. You have to chase the things that ignite you. You have to do the things that bring you joy. You have to surround yourself with the people who bring you back to home, to yourself, with the people who respect you and embrace you in ways that make you feel like you're worthy and accepted and loved. You have to work to heal yourself even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, so that you do not continue to approach your life within the boundary of what is hateful within. You have to put yourself out there. You cannot worry about what other people think. You cannot rob yourself of the experience or happiness or inspiration because you are scared of how you will be perceived. You have to be unapologetic in the way that you exist here. You have to believe that your ideas and your hope and your being deserve to take up space. You have to believe that you have purpose because our existence is finite. And as hard as that is to understand, as hard that can be to connect to it, from time to time, remind yourself that in the most human way, we are all living on borrowed time. We live as if we were promised experiences and the potential we are chasing. We live as if we have to control. We have control over what happens to us, but we don't. And that is liberating because it is pressing. There's urgency within the lesson. It wakes you up. Remember, you're not promised tomorrow. So how are you going to ensure that you crush your heart into your life? How are you going to ensure that you leave this world whenever it happens for you with a soul that is tender and full? Remember, you're not promised tomorrow. So how are you going to ensure that you crush your heart into your life? How are you going to ensure that you leave this world whenever it happens for you with a soul that is tender and full and weathered in the best way? with a soul that was never asked to make itself smaller, with a soul that was never waiting for the day it was skinnier or prettier, cooler, or more successful in order to take advantage of the time it was given. We cannot wait to be the people we have always dreamed of being. We cannot wait for life to be perfect itself. There is no right time, there is no perfect circumstance. We have to live even when our legs are shaking. We have to show up for ourselves, not in 3 months, not in 5 years, not or 10, but now, in this moment, because every single day is a blessing, every single day is a gift. Do not lose sight of that. The truth is, you cannot skip certain chapters in your life. Sometimes you have to experience the wrong love in order to learn how to fight for your heart, in order to learn how to recognize the right love when it comes your way. Sometimes you have to be alone. You have to heal in the quiet so that you don't let your past wounds stop you from receiving all that you deserve in this life. Sometimes you have to choose the wrong path. You have to make the mistake in order to truly connect with the fact that even missteps, that even rejections were really redirections. Sometimes you have to lose all that you hoped for. Sometimes all that you, all you that you, all that thought, all that thought you wanted, in order to understand, to unearth all you truly need, in order to make room within your life for the right things to unfold. Remember, everything you once considered a failure was really just an opportunity to flourish. Everything you once considered an error was really just an opportunity to expand into the kind of life that you were always meant to be lived, into the kind of love and career and happiness that were always meant to be yours. It is okay to be affected by something you thought you healed from. Healing is not linear. Be gentle yourself. Listen, I know it's hard. I know it's hard to live without someone who was once a hopeful part of your life. I know it's hard to wish that they were beside you through the difficult times. I know it's hard to see something beautiful and you have your heart ache, and not to have your heart ache with the urge to experience it with them. I know what it is like to live in the aftermath of another human being. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know it hurts. But you cannot focus on the people who walked away. You cannot keep all that hope alive inside you at the end of the day. If someone wants to be in your life, they will do, truly. They are capable. They will make the effort. They will show up. If they do not, let that be your closure. However, you do not have to hate them. You do not have to remember their contribution to your life as anything but beautiful. Do not ruin them in your mind. Do not grieve until you feel resentment. Instead, love them without attachment. Love the lesson they taught you. Wish them well every single time you think about them. Miss them. But do not ache for them to come back. The people in your life left because they were not ready to value you or love you or be there for you. Do not wish for them back. Do not ask for them to be more than they can be at the moment. Wish for them to figure themselves out. Wish for them to grow. They are on their own journey. A journey they're not part of, and that is okay. You have to learn that that is okay. So instead of focusing on the people who left, focus on the people in your life who have chosen to be there. Focus on the ones who stayed, on the ones who appreciate you and respect you. Focus on the people who match the love you give them. Focus on the people who empower you and grow you and make your life beautiful. You are surrounded by human beings who will not shy away from the love you give. You are surrounded by human beings who know they want you in their life. People who show you that every single day. Don't take them for granted. Don't lose touch of what you have, chasing what you no longer do. Trust me when I say you will miss out on beautiful things if you continue to stay rooted in all the ways you are wrong. If you continue to let your past pull you from experiencing what the present has to offer you. Do not close yourself off to potential. Instead, Open yourself to the world and allow for it to fill the space with the kinds of people, the kinds of moments, the kinds of experiences that exhilarate you, that compel you, that make you love yourself and your life and what you have to offer more and more each day. Sometimes love doesn't win. Sometimes beautiful things end because you outgrow another human being. Sometimes love becomes too heavy to hold. The potential and the lessons and the evolution have reached a threshold where there is nowhere else to place your hope. However, that is not something you should deem a failure or something that you should break your heart. That is something to celebrate. You managed to care for someone in the deepest way, to grow one another into human beings who are going to go off into this world and change other people with that love. You did all that you could for one another. And instead of forcing something that wasn't working or fulfilling you anymore, you chose to walk away. You chose to release your grip, to believe that there were other things in store for your hearts. There is bravery in that. Um, I'm going to stop there today. Um, I don't know, like, uh, how do you feel about today's reading? We're going to start from Joy, Furaha, Mary, and then and so on. So, Joy, how do you feel about today's reading?
Um, I think for me it was affirming. If it covered different different themes, felt like what we read today. And for me, it was the first chapter that we read was very affirming for me, and I loved how the author articulated a lot of the feeling of inadequacy, especially when it comes to not feeling like you're worthy and not good enough, and just having someone else put those feelings that I have conveyed into words made me feel so validated and see me. And it encouraged me to know that okay, if someone else, not even of our race, is going through the same thing or has gone through the same thing that I have, then there is hope that it won't end here. There's definitely hope at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
Okay. Furaha, mm, what, imagine you are the person who is being spoken to, who made the writer write this. Do you think you have the same experience as the writer, or is the writer having a very unique experience? Because the writer is writing this because of their experiences, their life, and so on. So, what if you are the target of the writing? How would you feel about it?
Thank you, Moses. Uh, I'll be honest that I haven't followed through the whole conversation, but I was there from the beginning and partly at the end. First of all, this aircraft is very in depth. It's very deep, and I really enjoyed the word. And I think, in as much as from what I'm understanding, uh, there is a sense of loss from the writer, loss of probably somebody that they loved deeply, but probably the person did not feel the same way, or also probably because the writer had self evolved or changed. So I think if the writer was writing about you, then I would have consider maybe talking to them because their reads are love in the way that they express themselves.
Okay, thank you. Mir, uh, what do you think? What can you could criticize from the writer, like from today's reading? Do you think that she's right in the way she's approaching things? Do you think maybe she has a different experience, etc.? What is there to critique from the writer? Oh, okay, I've seen your text. Mary says that just a second so that I can read what she says. It's on the chat. Mary says, in anayosema matatu, but I agree with Joy. The message was validating and it made me feel like I'm not alone in everything I'm going through, or anyone else for that matter. It gives me the courage to face my emotions and giving myself grace at every step. So thank you, Mary. Thanks for your text. Maybe Elias. uh, What do you think about today's reading? The 30 pages we've gone through. Okay, considering like the writer is a lady, so the writing is quite feminine. So maybe I can say I think you are the only other guy in the group.
Thank you, Motel. I have followed through the live, and the idea of the writer is breaking to me very key. I'm sorry to say, but even something like that, I would my friend. So you find sometimes I don't accept that they have to leave home. Like they did something wrong. So that urge of accepting that I have to leave them is very tricky, but seeing that I'm not alone in peace, it refers to a book that has the same story a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mary has answered the question. She's saying that what I would criticize is maybe the writer's focus on the ones who are going through pain and hurt and not addressing those who cause all the chaos and upheaval. I think that's an important point of view. Right? Like she's writing from, I don't know, like, is it, I don't know if Mary is meaning like she's writing from only a victim's perspective or someone who lives happen to rather than someone who makes lives happen. I don't know what your thoughts are. Maybe you can contribute on that. Uh, Maybe we go to Faith. What do you think about what Maria said? It's on the chat, the last text. Faith Ron. Faith Ron. Hello, Faith. Are you on? Okay, maybe we go to Guchu.
It's okay. Hi, everyone. When answering, I think what I would answer to Mary would be, when I'm writing something, like maybe if I were the author, I think healing is my own responsibility. Because sometimes it is when you lie flat, for somebody to walk on you, they'll just be like, you're not flat enough for them to go comfortably, So for me, I'm thinking the victim's perspective is better because you're always a victim in somebody else's story. So in this case, she was the one who was doing the wrong, but she considers herself the victim. So you criticizing the writer, it is understandable, but everybody's just a victim at some point, I think. Yeah, but me, when I'm talking about the book to myself, it would be sometimes the errors that happen in life, maybe your career, maybe the person that you choose to be with.
Sometimes you pour yourself into them and it is very okay because you could be giving 100. And then you find that the other person that you're pouring into, that is not enough for them. And you desire, it's not that you're doing wrong. You're just not with the person that you're person. So I think I'm in love with this book, honestly. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Guchu. We've not heard from Faith, but I'm not sure if technology inamfanyia ile kitu. So maybe we go to Navruk. What do you think of the book? I'm sure this is your first meeting. I didn't see you last week. What do you think of the book so far?
Everyone.
Uh,
It was really as a meeting in the sense that I have the perspective of self-worth and pouring yourself into an empty cup, which symbolizes like putting in a lot of efforts into think that's like a relationship. That's why you put in all the effort and at the end of the day, like you're not getting what you deserve. So I think it mostly ties into your self worth. How do you view yourself? And the question that you asked, maybe I understand her perspective as well, but also the author is writing, based on her experience as well. You normally um tend to write things that are mostly based on like your experience, the ones that you maybe you've heard stories about or the ones that you've actually lived through. But it's a beautiful, book so far, and it's very eye-opening. It's important to focus on yourself, to focus on your self-worth, and not like pouring into an empty cup or like putting in all the efforts for someone who doesn't truly deserve it and knowing your worth. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if anyone else has a question or an addition or a contribution to share with the group to push the discussion. Any points? Anything that you think maybe we've missed from the book? Because I'm thinking like on my end so far, like, okay, Fura.
Thanks so much. Well, mine is to probably request for soft copy is possible. And also, can maybe, yeah, I think if I could get a soft copy, then I'll be able to follow the discussion statement. So, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to share the PDF. Yeah. Where do you prefer share it? Which group?
I'm on the hard platform, so is it where you share the credentials for this meeting? I'll ship it.
Okay. Because I shared in all groups. Do I share if because we were using the chill sport group as the main group? I'll share the document on the chill sport group. Are you in the group?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to share on the chill sport group. I think we are around page 65. I think next week we need to get to at least page 100 because we have only one more week before this month ends. And then if any of you has a book suggestion, because I was thinking next month we do A Little Life. I don't know if anyone has interacted with that book by Hanya.
Which one? A Little Life.
Yes, I think it's about, I know, Hanya Yanagihara. I think it's a life-changing experience on its own. So maybe next week we do 100, I will do to page 100, we do the next 50, the last week of January. And then the next book we'll read is that one. I'll share both books if you want to get ahead. But I think I like the book club so far. I'm having a good time. I get started reading. Maybe we'll figure out who wants maybe to read next week. I can do the introduction and then they can do reading for at least maybe 20 pages. I can do the rest, or I can start the 20, they finish.
I can do it.
Okay, maybe Fura and Guchu, we do next week's readings. I'll just do the introductions and then invite you to do the reading. Is that fine?
Perfect. Yes, I think it's
Yes.
right.
So Fura will start and then Guchu will do the last 20. Okay, I think I'm going to end today's book club here. I don't know if anyone has an announcement, any progress in your life, anyone who has a birthday you can share so that we can wish you happy birthday. And so, any announcement? Okay, then I'm going to wish you all a good night, a great week. I hope everyone has had the previous week has been good enough for you. And I hope the next week is full of blessings. Have a good night.